Hey guys, hey! How's everyone doing? Hi. A lot has happened. Sorry about being gone for so long. I mean, it's just over a week, but I've been doing things. That was a Chibi weekend. It was great. We went to the Ren Fair. I've decided that I have a new least favorite airport. That's for damn sure. I'm not gonna go into specifics on any of the surgery-related things because, one, it grosses some people out, and also I'm not gonna tell you what I went into surgery for anyway. Not the specifics. I can give you vagaries though, and I will do that. We'll talk. I have so much to explain. So first of all, like Friday, God, it's been like a week. I've been so fucking... Yesterday was like the first day that I wasn't doing things consistently all day. Because I've been... Oh my god. Dude, oh my god. Okay, first of all, happy pre-spring. It is a ceremony day in my tribe, so it's primarily a woman's ceremony, so I'm not like doing anything for it. However, men can participate. It's basically like you bless your seeds for your upcoming planting, and you're like thankful about the people that survived the winter or whatever. And then like a bunch of women get smudged, go in the fire circle, and they dance. But I'm not doing that, obviously. But, yeah, congratulations on surviving the winter. Now we are pre-spring. I hope everyone grows well this spring and all that. I barely survived the winter, it seems. I had to go to urgent care in fucking November, and then again days ago. Same issue. But yeah, we flew off on Saturday, I think. Yeah, because I had work on Friday. I flew off on Saturday. And I had to wake up ridiculously early for that. But we got to the place where Chubby lives. The state that he lives in. Relatively early, so we got to check in early and relax and get dinner and all that. That was great. And then we went to a bookstore, and I got Spirited Away. Like the art book for Spirited Away, so I have more of those in my collection. But I think I have Anyo, Howl's Moving Castle, and Spirited Away, the art books for. I want all of them. And then the next day we went to the Ren Fair and we walked around for 6 hours. It was great. I got a little portable tea set thing. Oh my god, I bet I have a picture. Who did I send a picture to? I got like a leather thing that you strap on your belt. Got it. I found it. I knew it. This thing. Hold on. Look at this. Look at this. This is so fucking cool. You put it on a belt, and it's like a portable tea thing, and it's really cool. My emergency tea set. I collect teapots and teacups and stuff, so it was a bit expensive. However, it's really fucking cute. The only thing I had on my belt was like a medical sash. A little fucking... Everybody's about the belt accessories at the Ren Fair, you know? I had one like... this... Plague Doctor thing on it. My head. On my... I was... It's so cute, thanks. I, got a couple comments on my outfit. That was great. The vibe we were going for was Butcher. It was awesome. I had like, because I wanted to wear a mask, but I didn't want to wear a modern mask, so I had like a, you know, the little bandana on, and then, and then I had like a ton of eyeshadow on, because I wanted to go for like corpse look. So. One of the costumers, because the Ren Fair has like employees in costumes that just walk around, right? So one of them asked me why I was covered in blood the way I was, basically. He was like, was the person you were dissecting like above you? Because it was like on my shoulders and shit. Like, or like how did you get blood there? And I was like, oh, we like to make a mess for fun. And he, in this like generic like European Renaissance looking fit, went, oh, we like to invade other countries for fun. And I was like, help, that's so funny. I'll be listening. Hi, Bean. I'm at the moment just talking about how my trip went and how surgery went and shit. Yeah, I know, right? It was really funny. And I had like the undershirt was like lacy and it was hanging down. Black apron. Like blood here. On the sleeves. And then I had these like big ass fucking leather gloves. But I only wore one of them because I couldn't like use or anything with them on, so. Belt on underneath, or over the coat, but underneath the apron. The belt. Hi, Juby. I'm talking about where the Ren Fair fit, and how that went. Discussing the weekend trip before we talk into what happened after the weekend trip. I had my little fucking pouch on the side. My little harem pants and my fucking pirate boots. With the big ass baggy pants, you know? Tall boots. Straps and everything on them. It was great! You're so cool every day, thank you. Joey took us to mini bookstores. It was great. Yeah. I think, what else did I get from the Renaissance Fair? I got some things I can't elaborate on because they're a gift for somebody who I know frequent stream. Oh yeah, so this is an important detail. I got this infused honey, right? I got this infused honey that was like salted caramel flavored, and it's infused so it's like really thick, and it's like not even a liquid anymore at that point. It's like basically a butter. And then I got this new tea, this like William Shakespeare white tea, is what they called it. Really good. This is an important... This infused honey are so good. Yeah, it was like $40. This is an important detail for you to remember later. It was this beautiful, delicious salted caramel honey that I was really excited to try. I was like, ooh, I can make some black tea with it. You know, ice it and use it for milk tea. That would be really good. So, we walked around the Ren Fair. Did you have a reaction? Just you wait. No? Just you wait. We walked around the Ren Fair for like 6 hours. Rooster gets kind of overwhelmed, so he sits down for a while. We get to see the fucking, I don't know if you guys know the whip guy, who, like, has gone viral a few times. We got to see him. He was here. That was cool. There was a bird show. That was sick as fuck. They showed us hawks, owls. They showed us great horned owls. Jack the Whipper. I think so. One of them, he was talking about his, like, multiple million view thing. I don't know. And they showed us cool vultures and shit, and then we got to see a Eurasian great horned owl, which are the biggest horned owls. Bird show was really cool. We only watched part of the whip show. I was mostly there for the birds, I can't lie. And then Rooster was kind of overwhelmed, so I went and got him ice cream. And me and Chibi walked around for a bit. Not much longer. And then we left. We went back to the hotel. Did we get dinner? I don't remember. Oh, right. Chibi went home. Me and Rooster ordered Uber Eats because we were all exhausted. And I was like, man, I'm starting to kind of like hurt a little bit. Like, I think I need to like sit down. This is an important detail for later. That, walking around for 6 hours, I was like, I'm starting to like hurt a little more. But the next day was our day out, where we're gonna like wander around the city. We went to like Daiso and another bookstore and get lunch together and stuff. It was a lot of fun. I found, like, we went to this great nerd store, which had like a lot of like retail, like reselling things, like old games, and I was looking for fucking DS games and shit. It was really cool, really fun. That's so much fun, I almost died. Literally. I think from that bookstore, I got the last 2 books in my collection of the manga, The Girl from the Other Side, which is one of the few mangas that I've like fully collected because the art is so good. If you guys haven't read it, the fucking pen work is amazing. They made an anime, I started watching it, and I was just kind of meh. Mostly because the English voice actor is like Scottish, and I was like, what? But the pin work is really amazing. I'm kind of impressed the way that the animation that they did do for it kind of captures the like heavy pin work made by hand look to it. It is really pretty. So I got the rest of those in my collection. That was great. Except after we went to Daiso, I was like, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. So we had to sit outside for a while because I hadn't eaten that morning because I didn't feel good. And then I was like, I think that's making it worse because I have 1, motion sickness from the Uber driver, 2, crazy migraine, and 3, very sore. Very, very sore. Maybe from the 6 hours of walking, maybe from something else. So we had to sit down for a while. Rooster went and got us some snacks. Chibi sat with me and drew gay people. Chibi made the cutest little fucking card. Cutest little Valentine's card of Griffin Starling. It's so cute. I've gotta like just get a picture of it or something. It's adorable. It's really cute. It's like a little heart-shaped card and they're like stuck in the little box. It's so fucking cute. And then he was drawing another one of like Jasper and Davis. So I was watching him draw while I was sitting there feeling like throwing up. But eventually we felt up for walking around. We did a bit more shopping and then we went and ate Korean food. That was great because there's no Korean places up here. I'm sure you've heard me complain about. Tofu Korean place was really good. And then we went to an antique store that we ended up leaving after wandering around because they got mad that we had shopping bags with us and backpack, which is odd. But that's okay, they were all too expensive anyway, we were just kind of wandering. Also, the antique store had a lot of things that weren't very antique, so that was peculiar, but it was a really cool store. It was massive. So we left there, we went back to the hotel. Schubert played Pokemon, because I was like, I want you to play Pokemon ZA because I don't really like it, and I want to know what your opinions are. Which we also didn't like. I straight up fell asleep. Like, we were sitting together on like the hotel bed, and I straight up fell asleep. And then I woke up and was like, oh, my head still hurts. And we were like, we should get dinner, huh? And we're like, yeah, we should get dinner. And we started to go downstairs to like the restaurant in the hotel, and I was like, I feel abysmal. I was like, I feel awful. Like, I had an insane migraine plus the everything else, and I was like, ugh. I barely ate anything, and then I abandoned them. I was like, you guys finish having dinner? I'll go back up to the hotel and get a wet washcloth and put it over my eyeballs, because I feel like I'm gonna throw up. Like, I was like barely able to like conversate. It was so bad. It was probably one of the worst migraines I've had in a while. It was fucking awful. And I was like, oh, everything hurts, right? So Jimmy comes back up and I'm like, I'm gonna miss you forever. And he's like, I'm gonna miss you forever. And then he goes home, and then we like start packing up a little bit so that we don't have to pack so much in the morning. And then I go to sleep, but I can't sleep very well because I'm in pain. And then the next day sucked so fucking bad because that airport is the worst airport in the world, first of all. Number one enemy, that airport. Second of all, I couldn't fucking walk. I want to be so clear. This is why I ended up in surgery. I was in so much pain that I was limping. You tell them that airport was the worst. It was the worst ever fucking airport. Least favorite. We were like at odds with this fucking airport because one, we left a little early. Like, I know you're supposed to show up to the airport early, but we left extra early because we're like, well, we're just kind of sitting around in the hotel. So we were there like 5 hours early, just chilling in the airport. And they didn't give us our fucking tickets until like 15 minutes till board because they wouldn't let me check in on my phone, which is what they did on the way there. And they were like, go to the kiosk. So we go to the kiosk, and the lady's like, nah, go to the other kiosk. And we're like, okay, we're not allowed to be at this kiosk, I guess. So we had to go to a different kiosk. And then they were like, great, you have your little pass. Now you go to the gate agent, and they'll give you your actual ticket. And we're like, what? So we're like, okay. We go through security, and one, my ID doesn't scan. They're like, I don't know, it's just not scanning. And the lady's like, I don't know, there's just some problem with these today. And I like kind of awkwardly laughed, and she goes, oh, he thinks it's funny. And I was like, oh, fuck, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know what you want me to do. Like, so she was like personally offended by this, I guess. And they had to fucking blacklight my ID to prove that it was like real. And then we go through the security like fucking metal detector thing, and they flag my bag. Now, you remember that honey that I bought? This is not a large thing of honey. It's like not even bigger than my palm, really. They were like, it's oversized. You can't take this. I was like, what? Like, it's oversized. You can't take it. We can take you back through security that you waited in an hour for to put it in a checked bag that you have to pay for if you want, or you can leave it here. And I was like, fuck, I guess I'm leaving it here. So I didn't even get to fucking try my honey, my expensive honey that TSA took. It was so small. It was literally like it was kind of wide, but it definitely wasn't any taller than like my palm. And it also like wasn't really a liquid because it was, again, it was like condensed infused honey. So I don't know why it didn't count as like food. And in front of it just yeah, and Rooster got a full pat, like he got pat down. And I also got like a partial pat down. So the TSA in that fucking airport just hated us. Though that was great. And then we get to our fucking little gate, and I'm like, oh, I'm in a lot of pain. I'm like, oh, I can't. Oh, walking hurts. Like, oh, this is not great. Like, I can't sit. Like, oh, this is everything. Moving hurts. And we're like, where's the gate agent? So we have to wait for 2 other airplanes to come and go because, again, we were there fuck-ass early. And then when it's about our airplane's time, about an hour before our airplane shows up, we're like, "Hey, where's the gate agent? We still don't have our tickets." We're like, "I don't know, they should be here 30 minutes before boarding or whatever." Gate agent was late. We still don't have our tickets like 15 minutes before boarding. We're like, "Okay, yay!" We only got our tickets like while they were boarding. So we didn't know where we were sitting or like what gate we were supposed to, or like what group we're supposed to board with or anything until the late gate agent got there. I sat on the plane, and I swear to you, this would have been the most painful flight of my life. Like, I was in so much pain, just like, awful. But luckily, there was Cocomelon on, because the lady, like, directly diagonal of me, like, I was here, there was here, and then there was a seat here. The lady here was watching some, like, Chinese drama with subtitles on, so I was like, ah, fuck, this is great for me. So I was so locked into whatever was going on in that movie that it was, like, the only thing distracting me from the fact that I could not move without being in pain. And then we had a connection, so we get off on the other airport, right? And I'm at this point, like, I cannot walk at a quick pace. I'm like hobbling like a penguin, and Rooster's like walking with me, and I'm just like, this is awful. Like, what's happening? Like, everything hurt. And he's like carrying my little backpack because obviously we had to check our fucking bag because all of the fucking plane, like, every flight in that goddamn airport was overbooked, so we had to check our bags, which, you know, if they had just let us do that to begin with without spending $40, then I would have been able to keep my honey, but whatever. So, waddling around this airport, we're hungry, I'm dying. We eventually find our seats, Rooster brings me some food, and I'm like, I need to go to urgent care as soon as we get home. I'm like, ugh. However, we were also getting home at like midnight, so I would have to wait till the day before. Or the day after, I mean. So, this is going great. Our airport trip is going amazing. The next flight was luckily pretty short and the seats were more comfortable, so I was in less pain that time, but good lord. We get home, I hop in a bath, I'm like, maybe this will make my body feel better and less in pain. Not enough, I fully could not sleep. I swear to you, I didn't sleep at all. I was in too much pain to sleep. So I didn't even put away any of the things from the trip, I just like laid in bed in pain all night, rotating around like a rotisserie chicken, trying to find a comfortable way to sleep. And then began what is like the days-long journey of going through like 3 different fucking clinics, by the way, which ended up in me getting a full-on, like, went under surgery. Yeah. So, like, the trip, luckily most of the, like, ow didn't happen until we were leaving, so, like, I did get to enjoy the trip into hanging out with my frog. But, oof. Like, it really does. But now I'm still post-op. I literally got the surgery on Thursday, I think? Yeah, so I'm still a little sore. I have stitches. I'm not gonna go into detail on what happened, like the surgery that I had or anything, but it was, they had to remove a thing. That was causing a lot of pain. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't great. The thing is that it could also come back. But the thing is that we went into the, like, full-on... That's me, my bad! Why would you do this to me? Probably close to the worst pain I have felt in my life. I cannot lie. the reason I went under is because they can, do, like, the removal or whatever without anesthesia. But if I go under, then they can do things that will prevent it from coming back. They don't know if they were able to do that, though, because when I was in urgent care on the phone with the people that were sitting me up for the surgery, there became a complication. Let's just say there was a lot of blood in that clinic that day. So I literally was on hold on the phone, and the fucking doctor at the clinic, because I had to go to urgent care, and the urgent care was like, oh, we have to send you to someone else. Oh, fuck. So I was on the phone with this other person, and they were like, oh, all of our doctors are busy. We'll, like, call you back if we're, like, trying to get in an urgent appointment. I was like, great. And the doctor came back, and I was like, I have great and also bad news. Good news is that I was in less pain. Bad news is that, there's a lot of blood on the floor. So, I know, like, it's really vague and hard to tell what I'm talking about if you have, like, if you don't know, you have no idea, but trust me, it was a fucking experience. Yeah, you're made of wood paper is pretty good, literally. So, it just clicked. I don't, whatever you think it is, you may or may not be right. I don't know. I'm not gonna confirm anything. Just know that everything was terrible, and now I have stitches. As Egg said, I got neutered, which is not accurate, but I got neutered. Feel better, at least I do. Considering that, like, right now I'm on a lot of painkillers. Not the prescription, they gave me, like, big fancy prescription painkillers. However, I don't really need those. I've just been taking ibuprofen and Tylenol because that's doing it just fine for now. They also gave me a big-ass horse pill that I'm supposed to take to keep infections away and stuff like that. So that's great. Like, shit stings still because they're stitches and they kind of sting if you touch them. But, like, way less pain than I was in at the airport. Or the day after. Like, I cannot elaborate on how awful that was. Really do normal stream stuff. Yeah, I've been spending most of my day sitting up. Like yesterday was a big post-op day. Been spending most of the day just sitting at my desk anyway, because I had to contact my boss and be like, I cannot come into work this weekend. I had to get surgery. And she was like, okay. So I'm able to sit at my desk just fine. It's the moving around that's an issue. Usually when it starts to hurt. But if I don't move too much, it's okay. So that's how that went. I, like, currently at this very moment, there is, like, stinging. And it comes and goes in, like, little waves, usually depending on how much I'm moving. But it could be worse. So now you guys know. You guys know everything now. Congratulations. Dude, the anesthesiologist— I've never been in, like, a big hospital before. I've only been in, like, clinics. That was weird. I've never gotten surgery. The IV— oh, I still have a dot on my arm. My hand. One, I have great veins for IVs, because I'm very, I don't know, thin. So you can, like, see all of the veins in my arms and my hands. So the IV was an easy in. I've never had an IV before. That shit stings. That just stings like hell. It was just, like, electrolytes and water and shit. For a while, but that shit stings. Shoot my orange or your way so we can see you in per— aw. I'm in the hospital, big hospital. It is. It, like, feels like I don't know, it's like so big and professional, and you're like, I'm in here for like what feels like a minor surgery to me, but it was still like wild. My roommate made me fruit salad because that's what my grandmother used to make when I was a kid, and I would go to ceremonies. And today is a ceremony day, so he made me fruit salad. So I have a fruit salad. Yeah, we also had to wait a while for the anesthesiologist because our surgery was at my roommate was there with me the whole time. My surgery was at the end of the day, which means everybody was wrapping up and finishing doing busying things. It also meant that I had to fast literally all day. I feel like I was not supposed to be there. Literally, see, when you're like not in there for like a big thing, it's like, oh, do I need to be here? And all of the nurses were super nice. One of them, when they took me back, crouching is the worst. Luckily, I do it on accident all the time. When they took me back, the nurse that was with us, I love her, she's so funny. She's like, have you ever wanted to feel like a NASCAR? And I was like, what? And she's like, there's gonna be people coming at you from like all directions. We're like your pit crew. I was like, okay, cool. And then she put like a little arm on the table that I was on, the like surgery table, so that I could sit the arm with the IV on it over there. And when she clicked the like armrest on, she was, there you go, Lightning McQueen. Ka-chow. It made me laugh so hard. I was like, I like you, you're my favorite. And she went, you're my favorite. And I was like, you say that to everybody. She said she doesn't. I don't believe her. Like legit, that's crazy. Also, they kept offering me heated blankets. I guess because I'm really thin, but also apparently they have a bit of like what they called it as their vocal tick is offering people heated blankets because they have so many heated blankets. And I was like, nah, I'm okay. I'm fine. Like I was actually kind of warm because I was nervous, right? So they kept offering me these heated blankets and they're like, you sure you don't want them? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I don't even remember starting to get sleepy, for the record. I was like having this conversation with this nurse, and next thing I wake up and I'm a mummy. And I mean, my entire body, except for like my eyes, was completely covered in blankets. Like my head was wrapped up. I was like, what? I don't even remember opening my eyes. I was just like, huh? Like, I guess I got cold? I don't know. I just like opened my eyes and they're like, okay, you're back in the recovery room. And I'm like, a burrito. Like, and it wasn't, my head was wrapped. I had a blanket like tucked around me, like another one laid on top of me. And I was just like, eh. Like the nurse that was in the recovery room like had to lift the blanket off my face to see my eyes. Like it was so covered up. I was like, what? And we were like, maybe it's because I'm so thin that they like thought I was getting cold, or maybe like while I was out I was like shivering or something. Like I have no idea. Like I just woke up completely covered. So I took those blankets off because I was like, I'm not cold. But I was like really woozy. I was like, oh. And you've been tasty. And then the nurses accidentally lost my clothes because, you know, you have to wear a surgery gown. So before surgery, you have to take off all your clothes and put them in a little bag. And they were like, your belongings, they're like not down here, right? And we're like, yeah, I don't see them anywhere. And they're like, maybe they're still in the pre-op room. They go up there, they're not there. So we're like, shit. So we had to wait while they're like finding our clothes. They're somewhere in the building, so I wasn't worried about it. I was also just like, I'm not in pain anymore, yay! I was still very sore because I just had this surgery done, but I was also still woozy, so... And they were like, you have to drink water, you have to eat food, and you have to call a nurse if you want to try to stand up. And I was like, okay! I was able to walk fine, at least. No, I was wearing sweatpants at this point because the day after Ren Fair was multiple clinics, and then at the end of that day, they were like, okay, we need to see you in surgery tomorrow. So I had like a day between that. But I had like sweatpants and a big shirt on and stuff. Because I knew I was going to be uncomfortable after the surgery. They did eventually find my clothes and stuff, obviously. But the nurse lady was like, thank you guys for being patient and you're so nice and I love your humorous outlook, because I was sitting there making jokes the whole time. They love me. I've been bloated like the Ren Fair outfit. No, that's the one that I wore to the clinics before that ended up covered in blood. Oh yeah, they told me that they posted lab results on my fucking medical history, but I don't know what lab they were doing. I guess they were like, we got some blood, we might as well use it. I don't know. Did that chronically? Wait, I'm gonna screenshot that so much. They loved you so much that they were gonna come back soon. Yeah, literally. No, me and my roommate joke that even the doctors are amazed by me. They think I'm so interesting. Chronically ill Riz is taking me out. You've been diagnosed with gay. For real. So... it can be funny sometimes. Yes, that was everything that happened. Now you guys are caught up. Yesterday I had a rest day and I doodled a lot of high school AU stuff. Played some video games with Val and Shubi for a little bit and Wawa, and I think Wuzzles was there at one point. Wuzzles was evil. Wuzzles threw me off a cliff. Let me be clear. I played Peak with Val and Wuzzles threw me off a fucking cliff. He was like, no, you jumped off that cliff yourself, because maybe someone was present when a friend and companion Bing Bong may have jumped off a cliff and I wasn't a part of that. It was just really sad the way he jumped off that cliff. So it was really sad the way I also apparently on my own jumped off a cliff. And then Wuzzles left Val to die, for the record. It was really funny. It was probably one of the funnier Peak plays we've had. This very chaotic. We did not make it. We played like 3 rounds and we did not make it a single time. To be fair, the fucking jungle had us on a chokehold. I did, on the last round, we did make it to the volcano, but then it was late, so, you know, everybody had to go to bed. I saved Val from the lava 2 times. And didn't even lose my backpack, because I'm smart and was able to put it on top of a rock before I went to go save him from the lava. 2 times. That's basically all I did yesterday. I realized when I was looking for my old high school AU art to share that I was really, really into it last time too, and now it's coming back around and I'm like, oh, I love playing Barbies. Halfway to buying a new computer. Ooh! You did blue screen, that was crazy! Wait, I can show you guys, I'll show you guys my fucking doodle page that I did yesterday. If you want to see it, like I guess if you want to see our high school AU stuff, like I guess if you didn't see it, or like I guess. So sad about Bing Bong. It's so sad the way Bing Bong jumped off that cliff. That was so sad. So we were talking about Neptune being the neat freak that he is. And I think it was Wuzzles that was like, somebody dump a bucket of mud on him. And I was like, don't worry, Aether already planned to do this. And we talked Barbies. We talked Barbies up until the moment the surgeon took my phone. Like I was literally like, like typing to Aether in the like recovery room, like Barbie. Like I was so locked in. Like I was like, give me my phone every time the doctor would leave, so I could continue talking about Nep. It's a distraction. I'm actually was really great because I was really nervous. So we were talking about, I don't know how this happens or what context. I think Wuzzles joked about Aether fucking throwing a mud ball at him, but in whatever way, dunked in mud. I need you guys to realize Neptune isn't just like clean freak, like, or minor OCD. He's like, if his skin gets like gross enough, he's like fully, his mind is like, it's under my skin, I need to rip it out, like this is disgusting, like I'm gonna start pulling, like, he gets manic, like it's bad. It's part of the reason Neptune canon is very much the control freak he is, because it helps him in a bad way of coping, like not in a healthy way of coping, but it helps him control that, because he's like, oh, if I control everything, if there's no mess, then I don't have to, you know, go into manic fucking episodes. I went through my wisdom before we go to my wisdom teeth. Large space is the best place to make lore, so true. So you have him over here like, it's under my skin, sticking to everything, it burns, like it physically is painful to him. There's like a level of mess that is okay, that's just like uncomfortable, and then there's like this level, which is like full breakdown. Specifically because in this instance, it was just them. Like they weren't in public, and so Neptune is like less likely to have his like professional face on, basically. So he's like freaking the fuck out. Content warning, it gets kind of self-harpy. And I really like this panel. He's just like, starts like gripping at his arms. And Aether, who's like, these guys fucking hate each other. These two are rivals. Neptune wants to get Aether expelled. Aether has like a great time shitting on this guy because he sucks ass. And Aether's like, oh, I did not mean for this to happen. Hold on, this went a little further than I hoped. He's like, hold on. Malone's fucked up. So Neptune's like in his head, and Aether's like, hey, whoa, hold on. And Neptune immediately, of course, lashes out. Just trying to have fun and mess with the guy, literally. And Neptune starts like destroying his arms. Neptune has, like, the reason he can slice up his arms so well is because he like maintains like long, nice nails. They're like painted blue and everything. So he's just immediately like slice. Hose him down with the garden hose. I don't know if that would just make it worse. So he's like fully lashing out, like, don't fucking touch me. And Aether's like, well, if you will quit your shit, like, and then, you know, he gets slapped. I really like this panel because his hair is so poofy normally, and it's really heavy here because it's like weighed down. And then I didn't get much further than this in this little comic, but Aether is gonna have to fully like pin his hands so that he stops like fucking up his arms. And then they have a beautiful, beautiful conversation. Whole wrestling bit at this point, literally. Vicious, yeah.
3, 2, 1, let's go.
They're both gonna end up fucking covered in blood. Oh, you're going live? Hey! It's so good. Probably one of my favorite like high school AU moments. Probably has to. It's definitely up there with that comic where Griff pisses off Sterling's like rich friends, and I don't know if you guys understand. In that comic where Griff says, what was it? Don't let rich assholes use you like that, you're better than that. It's because he lets people do that, and he thinks Sterling's better than him, and he thinks himself like, oh, you guys don't understand. That's so good. And this one's definitely up there. This one is such a good look into Neptune. Like, he masks so much and he stays so formal because one, that's what's expected of him, and also that's where his comfort is, that's where his control is. But like, he breaks down like this, like internally. Insane. Autograph in the top. Where autograph? Oh yeah. Because of events that I won't elaborate on, Neptune and Aster kind of... Aster? What? Aether kind of bond during this in a way that they're both fully, like, not wrapped around. But putting characters in the brink and seeing how they are? Yeah. So, like, they get into a wrestling match and have, like, a vague conversation about where they are because Aether... I'm so bad with names. Aether used to be kind of in the same situation Neptune is, in the sense of, like, lashing out at other people because you can't control anything. So there's this vague conversation they have while Aether's trying to get him to stop injuring himself. And Neptune's fully like, you let go of me and I'm gonna stab you. Like, the moment you let go, you're getting stabbed. This is a bluff, and he doesn't do that. Because, in some sense, he doesn't want to, but they have this, like, moment where Aether's like, you can be your own person, like, what do you want, dude? Neptune's like, you fucking touch me, get the fuck off me, I fucking hate you. So Aether gives him, like, this sort of... I think we accidentally called it heart to heart, but heart to hurt. And I was like, accurate, yeah. And then Aether goes home and, you know, is cared for by his family because he's, like, got blood on him and was in a scuffle, and they're like, are you good? You okay? And Neptune goes home and his dad's like, oh, you've made a mess. Like, what happened to you? Like, let's get your change your clothes. Like, what's going on? And Neptune's just, like, not really listening because he's fully distracted by the shit that Aether was saying, but A's not gonna acknowledge that. It's just gonna, like, push that down and we're not gonna talk about that. And then an event happens really close to Grad. It's kind of end story for Neptune, in which he has to make a choice on his own for himself, and he's scared. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go to one person, and if there's any slip-ups, I'm fucking out of here. Like, it's enough. So he goes to Aether, and Aether helps him, actually. Neptune does have to borrow clothes, which is where this came from. What the fuck is this? He's like, Neptune in this moment is like super disassociating, super distant. He's like genuinely scared, and Aether's like shit. So he's kind of trying to help, but they're both kind of still hate each other. Wait, it snaps him out of his like dissociative panic because he's like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, I know you have nice clothes. Frenemies with the punk and the girl. Just kidding. Yeah. I was like, I know you. So this is what I was doing all of yesterday while I was recovering from surgery. I was trapped at work. Me just yapping at you about Neptune and Aether. And we also decided, we talked about Nahara being with Aether at this point, so Nahara comes down for breakfast and fucking Neptune is there, and Nahara beefs with Neptune because everyone fucking beefs with Neptune. But also because Nahara's kind of friends with Griff, and Griff is scared of Neptune, and Nahara's like, I'm gonna fucking beat this guy up. We're fighting tonight. It was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, not to be the voice of reason, but hold on, let's chill. The fucking menace of all time has to be the voice of reason is so funny. Neptune's trying so hard to play niceys because he's like, I really need help right now, and you guys are doing things for me, and I understand how debt works. So he's like, you fucking stay away from me, you little shit. Don't make me fight you. And Nahara's like, I'll throw this bowl of cereal at you. Big fat heart, yeah! Keeping him far away from Griff, for real. Metal Rick and Neptune, Nick and Neptune too. Everyone hates Neptune. The thing is that when he's in public, though, he plays very, like, charming. The thing with Neptune is that you're not supposed to know that he's kind of sadistic, like the general public isn't. In this, obviously, Neptune is less sadistic in this AU than he is in canon. Hurting my brain. He's just kind of like, High School AU is more, instead of him being openly sadistic, he just kind of lashes out because hurting other people is his way of, like, his only form of self-expression, basically. But, like, in public, he's still very much, his image and stuff is the most important thing, both to him and to his dad. Very important to his dad. Stop presses. So he's like very, very, very polite when he's around, like, public, like in social places. Like, he's a bit snarky. Fucking sass, for sure, but he's like formal and polite and put together. He does keep a knife on him at all times. And I know that you can't get away with that in American schools, however, come on, remember his father is the mayor. And also it's a hidden knife, it's literally like hidden on his leg somewhere. He's, I don't know his exact height, but at most it's 5'10", probably, maybe 5'9", I don't know. Just about that. Clean freak, Nepo baby. I have Mari's nickname for him up here. Oh, I wanted to do the names as sort of like signatures, so I also have Kalanu's chart here. Let me see if I can find it. And Kalanu has ass handwriting. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. Very bad handwriting. My bluey blues clues bluebird. Fun fact, in canon, Mason calls Neptune Bluebird. Because Neptune refers to everyone by nicknames, or not Neptune, Mason refers to everyone as nicknames. God, I'm saying so many names, it's really confusing me, and they're literally my characters. So we have the most prep of all time. I was doing this and this yesterday. The most prep of all time, manipulative bastard, masks in social places, and then we have the most wet blanket you have ever met. Nahara's foster sibling. That's so specific, man. I love you, Kalanu. They have like a cobbled together ham radio that they listen to like airplane chatter on. Going to work. I love you, Jimmy. Yeah. Let me be very clear. They are a doormat. They are so like very much. Kalanu is because of the situation with Nahara and the evil parents, they're kind of playing peacekeeper where they're like, oh, tentatively agree with both sides so that everyone stops fighting, you know, kind of situation. Like, and everything is my fault, I'm sorry, you know. It's okay, let's just, you know, whatever you say, let's just stop fighting. So me and Egg have been talking about them. The bumpers. That everyone assumes these two are like actually like Oh, they're siblings. They like each other. They don't. Well, Kalanu likes Nahara, and Naharu very much at the beginning is like, this is a fucking stranger to me. Like, it doesn't give a shit at all. And it's really sad. It's like, what? Which is, I actually have little stars on this sheet, specifically for a reference to Nahara. They think Nahara is so cool. I got a VOG. We've just been talking the whole time, going over stuff that I was drawing yesterday and doing some doodles. Oh yeah, Neptune's fucking perfectionist. Every foster parents can be like McKinley. Yeah, Kalanu and Nahara are a bit complicated. Me and Egg said they're basically strangers and they only know what they know about each other from witnessing them in school around other people. And Kalanu pays attention, Kalanu likes Nahara, and he, like, sees Nahara act, like, hanging out with these people that, like, Nahara is himself around, and, like, these friends, and they're like, oh, he's happy, that's nice. Like, oh. Because Nahara's, like, never fucking at home, and only comes home late, so he doesn't have to talk to any of the family, and shit. Leaves early, it's, ooh. Like how your red string chart is. I should update that. Yeah, fucking when in the priorities chart where it's like family, it's like some of them. Kalanu likes Nahara and like any younger siblings, but like the parents are like, you guys are evil. And then we have, I love writing stuff in. I think it's just so interesting. The polite and rudeness on Neptune, it's very fake. Political, he has to be. Family, he cares about his family because he has to. So that's where I am with everything that I was doing yesterday. I was drawing a lot yesterday because I was stuck at my desk because I couldn't walk around. Now you guys know all about Neptune and Kalanu and their actual name is Charlotte. You can call them by either, they just go by their tribe name. Which, fun fact, tribe names are completely not serious. It's basically just a nickname that you get once you're like puberty age, usually, and they do not have to be serious at all. They can be silly and goofy. There's something that your tribe is like, that's you. At least that's how it worked in my tribe. Oh yeah, they work part-time at the gas station. Heard about that. I miss them, they're right here and I miss them, yeah. Love their little jacket. Finished jacket. Also, these things around the neck. I had one of these for a little bit when I was younger, but I kinda got annoyed of it. They're like tentatively spiritual. Basically, you put things that are like usually prayer things or just things that are important to you in general.
Okay, how about my teacher?
Which one? You put in spiritual prayer things in here or things that are important to you in general, and then you wear it everywhere, basically. They're like little leather pouches. I had one when I was little, but I got annoyed. And Kalanu has, I've decided, a little, you know those little fucking origami paper stars in theirs that is supposed to be representative of Nahara. Probably also like downy feathers from like a bird or something. No. Oh, tee hee tee hee tee. Otherwise, I guess I can work on my commission. I need to do that. It ended up having to wait because I went on a trip and then got surgery. But I do have one more commission to do. I need to finish up the background so that I can do the animation. Yeah, here we are with this. Yeah, so let's try to get some work done on this. As much as I want to draw High School AU stuff and Crows stuff. I've been thinking about Crows a lot lately. I started working a bit on the script for, the concept episode. This leg is bothering me. Remember? What do you remember? Your legs a bit too long, given they are. And this, yeah, that was a bit ago. At this point, over a week ago. So here, I think I was working on this while we were doing, listening to Metamorphosis, but here's the progress I've made on this. Like what I got done today. I think I saw a bit of... Ironically, the, like... God, I need to talk more about the way this fucking witches work, and the cursed species work, and the, clothing style specifically is what makes the Crows OCs look more crows. Ironically, cowboys technically work. Technically. And they're... However, cowboy aesthetics are usually tied to the monster hunters. It's one of the things that I use to kind of make them look like their own faction. So... There are technically cowboy aesthetics in Crows. One more quick that you sent. Oh, yes, yes, yes. For a second, I was like, this man's got paws. Okay. Dude. Also, big news. Huge news, actually. Fucking, you know how I went into surgery after... So, let me clarify. I went to urgent care, and then I went to another clinic to then send me to a hospital, right? So urgent care sent me to a more, like, specialized place so they could further decide if I needed surgery. They were like, oh, you need surgery. So they sent me to the bigger hospital. I went to 3 different, like, fucking places with 3 different doctors, MDs, in the span of, like, 2 days. I got, a new medication to take regularly, and the painkillers, the, like, big fancy painkillers that I can take as needed. I didn't pay for anything. Huge news! Big fucking news! Like, I think the medication was covered by my insurance, and I'm pretty sure because I have no deductible, and I only have to pay a copay when I get surgery. And the recovery room, they're like, oh, don't worry, there was no copay. So I'm like, well, I have $0 deductible, and if there's no copay, that means I pay nothing, right? So I'm pretty sure it was completely covered by my insurance, which is fucking huge. This is great news. Especially because this is an issue that can come up again. Ideally it won't. Ideally they were trying to prevent it from coming up again, which is why we went into the surgery. But it would be really upsetting to have gone through all of that into surgery for this to just be a problem again that I then have to go to surgery for to get fixed again. But knowing that, especially, my main concern was, do I have the money for that if this comes back? Like, if the surgery doesn't work? Because there were some issues that made it to where it may or may not be able to do the exact procedure that would prevent it from coming back. Which is why I was, concerned. But $0, so that helps a lot. I was like, they're like, you have a new invoice in your email. I was like, great, what does this say? It's like $0. I was like, holy shit! So that's it's just fucking huge news. I cannot over explain the amount of relieved I am, because you know how you go to the fucking doctors and they tack on so many fucking things just to charge you for, and I saw multiple doctors. And the first one was a part of the cooperative that I'm in, and a cooperative is a members-owned health insurance clinic thing. So they're really good about not charging you for things because they don't tack on random things, because everyone who works there also has that insurance, which is great. But I also had to go see a different clinic, and the hospital, which were not under the same group, but they're partnered or whatever. And they also didn't charge me anything. So this is great. I still need to talk to them about the migraine things though, because those are obviously still an issue, but big news. It's beautiful, I know, right? Finally. So I don't have to spend freaking hundreds of dollars. I was really worried it was gonna be a lot. However, I do get a consultation for my wisdom teeth in a couple weeks. And I do have a dental, however, I don't know if it's very good. So, I might end up having to pay that money to my wisdom teeth because I don't know how much of that they're gonna cover. Or if they're gonna be like, oh, we can only cover your tooth that's impacted and not the other ones. So I'm expecting that I might end up having to pay hundreds to maybe $1,000 on my wisdom teeth. So, if I do, hey, by the way, I have a Patreon. But I'll keep you guys updated on how that goes. I still haven't got my wisdom teeth removed yet, which I was trying to do last year, if you remember. Yeah. Makes eating hard because she gets stuck in them because they're still half in the gums. At least they don't hurt so much anymore. His build reminds me of Crow. Big sideburns and the big brows and the big nose. Miss my Birdman. They're all Birdmen is the secret. Wishing this man so he can pay for his bills. Choose the next game. It's true! I'm unfortunately missed a stream this week, but I was dying. Getting a little weird. Guys, I want to talk about crows. Guys, I want to talk about crows. Moses was asking me about how the halos work, because I think I vaguely mentioned in the fucking OC thing. It's so funny to me that there's a channel for crows now in Space Jam. That's absolutely hilarious. Definitely not deserved. There's definitely... Not that it's oh, my thing isn't cool enough. It's just I don't think there's enough chatter for it. To need its own channel, but... Really funny that there's a fucking channel for crows now. Patreon at the moment, but he does plan to go public soon. It's true. I plan on doing... What I want to do is have just a couple slots open for public commissions, and then still have more slots open, like bonus slots open for Patreon. Obviously, NES builders get a discount on commissions, actually. As for Crow and Concrete Garden, yeah, I saw. It's just really funny to me because I'm like, nobody fucking talks. Nobody knows about the crows except for me and my 3 people. I've been trying to convince Wawa to make a crows OC. I want him to make a fucking keeper so bad. I think he would, but I've been busy doing other things. Me, when I was like, I feel like he should be winking because I'm just thinking about drawing Crow, who has 1 eye. Guys, I miss Crow. Guys, I miss Mr. Crow. I need to work on chapter 2. Have your little corner. Fair enough, I guess. Anyway, we were talking about vaguely mentioning the halos this morning and how they work like eyes. Which is, you don't even know. You don't even know. If you knew, you would know. If you knew how fucking heaven worked in Crows, you would know. But you don't know. Let me be very clear though, I'm not really precious about spoilers. Most of what I don't spoil is just like endgame stuff and things about the Cursed King since he's like our main antagonist, but I don't really care. Good. I wish I was allowed to know. Yeah, why aren't you in the Crows channel and Space Jam? And make your biblically accurate angel, Lucy. Here. Yes, he's a part of the stream, okay? Oh, I was also explaining, Ing lately. Who's a character I can't get... No, I guess he's not super plot related. But I don't want to get too in detail on, but Ing is probably one of my favorite of the side characters. Ing is an ING, if that's his name. He's so cool. I forgot the name of it. I know you would, it's okay. I unfortunately really like, this is probably spawned from Griff, but I really like developing the angels in Keeping Crows, even though they are kind of completely irrelevant to the plot. I'm just like, oh, they're so cool. It's my DM world building that makes me want to like make everybody like explorable basically. Like I'm like every part of it has to have its own little if somebody wanders over here, I have to know what's going on, you know? My D&D brain. As if you guys can wander anywhere. It's like, I put you somewhere and you see it. Like, there's no free will. But I'm like, what if they go over there? Always no. Well, no, I think there's some D&D campaign. I genuinely think that'd be so much fun. You want to make a Megamoro season there? You should! I want to talk more about... I really need to work on this commission, but I want to make a fucking sheet for the different types of cursed souls and witches and kind of talk about the way that their fashion works, because in The cursed world has different fashion to the human world, which is not modern fashion. I've said this many times, it's Georgian fashion with modern influences, and I kind of want to make a reference for that. And obviously, as I said earlier, there's like small exceptions, like the hunters usually having Western themes. I have an example of that, actually. There's a hunter, his name is Drifter. It's, because most of the monster hunters go by codenames. Let me see if I can find you. Drift, where are you in your normal clothes? Fuck-ass duster. Like, this streamer do what you want? No, 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 I can't. The fuck is he? This fucking guy. He's technically one of the crow's hunters. Monster hunters. All of the monster hunters, well, an amount of the monster hunters have Western aesthetics. He works for, wait, so his guild is a very specific kind of monster guild, or hunter guild, because his guild is monsters hunting monsters, which is, you know, weird. But I actually know who runs his guild and another member because they're based off of D&D OCs that I made once. And then further designed. This fucking guy is the one who runs Drifter's monster hunting agency. I know way too little about the world. I know, I want to like explain more of it so that people can have more like room to play with it, because I love giving people that access to like play and make things, but I have so many fucking projects going on that I'm like, oh, if it makes you feel better, I am working on the script for the first episode. Like, vampires and vampires hunting other vampires is a well-known trope. Well, no, because the guy who runs the place is an Oni, and this is his coworker. Hold on, and remind you, all monsters in the Crow's world are demons. They are all demons. They're subsects of demons. So this may look like a satyr. This is a demon. He works with this guy. This is Brewer. He's always fucking drunk. Well, he doesn't work with him, but they work in the same guilds. Nobody likes Brewer. And this is the guy that runs their guild. He is an Oni. He's cool as fuck. I love this guy. Yeah, he can transform to look more human, but he's so cool. He's so cool. I know someone who would love this guy. Wait, I need to get their thoughts real quick. Hold on. Perfect. I'll see that later. Anyway, yeah, so the Monster Hunters tend to have kind of a Western look to them, just because I wanted to give them a visual... Lore-wise, no reason. Design-wise, just because I wanted to give them a visual tick that kind of sets them apart. But most Monster Hunters are obviously human. There was a Monster Hunter character that was originally going to be one of the first few antagonists, I guess, that the Crow's group would run into, but I ended up having to cut him for pacing. So they might still run into him, but he won't have as big of an arc as he was going to, because I've got to make it shorter for the sole fact of I'm pretty much animating it and working on it myself, so I have to make it doable. And basically a one-man team. Me, the one-man team. obviously, yeah, mods and Chubi and them will help me if I ask for it, but they also don't know how to, like, animate. But, yep, I'm working. Wait, I can show you guys a fucking. Let's see if I can show you guys something from the script that I thought was funny. Does this give up too much information? I think I'm gonna show you guys just so that I can get you interested. But this might give up a little more information than I want. Well, it's just text, so I'm just gonna read it. You guys want a little preview? It's something that happens. It's at the beginning of the concept episode. It's nothing like serious. It's just funny. If you aren't interested. No, the thing is that you can't be invested in characters that you don't know. And you guys unfortunately don't know a lot about the Crow's characters, so I believe that you are intrigued, not that you are invested. Does that make sense? Because I haven't made enough about them for you guys to really get invested. So this text starts with Gray, but his name is in quotes. So it's Gray hesitates a moment before quickly trying to tackle Rave, to which she leans back quickly and trips him. She's still smiling pleasantly. Rave, oh, nice try! She shifts, a sword appearing in her hand as she points it to his back. So you've been kidnapping people. Gray, in quotation marks, is on the ground. He growls with frustration before looking back at Rave with a dark grin. Fish has to eat, doesn't he? Rave, wow, gross! Wow, gross! I literally have like the little colon D smile on the script. Sorry, I have a bowl of fruit. I also probably read that very fast. Sorry, it was very funny to me, so I got excited, so I spoke fast. Is a bowl of fruit? I do! My grandmother used to make this fruit salad. Midwestern fruit salad or whatever. For ceremonies, and it's a ceremony day, so my roommate made me a fruit salad. There's pre-spring. Primarily a woman's ceremony, so I'm not doing much. Also because I'm recovering from surgery, but Moon and Egg are talking about expanding the King's Academy. Tell them to get in my chat right fucking meow. People always do shit when I'm not there. I honestly need to do one too. I made the rifle school to shove. I genuinely, I'll be so honest with you, I fully made that school so I could use all of my Crow's OCs as teachers. Like LM is the fucking biology teacher, Grimoire is the PE teacher. So, theoretically, I guess I should have specified that. They do have staffing, they live in my head. And you can all tell them that if you wish. Okay, here's your guy. Mick was a KA student? Yes. I have a few. Sterling and Mason were both KA students. I think Sterling may transfer by graduation, but he is for most of his high school. Your dude. Obviously Neptune goes there. I think Val has a character in KA. I think Win is in there now too. So again, I made King's Academy because I wanted to put all of my OCs into high school AU, but didn't want to take over Concrete Heights. So it's partially something I was just talking to Judy about. So like, all of my fucking demons and shit from Keeping Crows pretty much are in there. Like, Stell's probably in there, like... I know, I talked about LM being like a biology teacher. I considered trying to put Malcolm in there as a teacher. Like, I wanted to do, like, put everybody in the little high school AU, and I was like, oh, I don't want to, like, take over y'all's space, so... Multiple people are writing characters again. I know, it's great. She's so evil. It's important that we remember that KA is run by the human version of the Cursed King. He's chilled out, obviously. He's less evil in this AU. But never forget this. This is so important. He cares a lot about image, though. Why do you look so long? I know the legs got like some foreshortening going on towards the camera more, but you look so long. I don't think that's right. Doing that? Why are you doing that? I say is the one who did it. Particularly long, yeah. Growing pains. I'll die a bit. Okay, now everybody's telling me what to do. I'm not gonna do it out of spite. I said it. Typically. Yeah, but again, remember the legs are coming like towards the camera, so I wanted them to look a bit long, however. Okay, I suppose. Yeah. I said typically. Okay. We gonna fight? You wanna fight me? More fluid. I wanna fucking hold on. I'm on fucking Discord because you guys are talking about shit without me. You bitch ass people posting fucking. Wanna write about it, but writing is scary. I want to know what everyone's doing. And they always do things when I've got my back turned. multiple comics in the last hour. I know. How am I mad about it? Mouse is taking a shine to Mick. That's because Mick is perfect. It's Wawa.
Him 3 apples tall.
Hey, everyone was telling me that high school AU was doing a bunch of things and it was making me mad because I'm missing everything. Of Connor's fucking doodles. They always do things the moment I turn my back. I need to lock in. They always do things the moment I turn my back. They're like, okay, now it's time. They wait for you to leave for literally. So I was explaining my monster hunters and how they work in crows, and I pulled up the Oni guy and I was like, I know someone who will like this. I think I know someone who would like this design, so I sent him to you. You heard me. He just seemed like a character you would be interested in. He's like the leader of a monster hunter guild. Monsters hunting monsters guild. Wait, you guys are gonna have to listen to me talk about the same thing again because I'm gonna show the same characters off. He also works with this guy. This is Brewer. All of the monster hunters go by code names, and this is Brewer, and he's always drunk. Drifter fucking hates him. Drifter's the vampire guy. Drifter hates Brewer. Drifter's also one of the monster hunter guys. I was explaining the style stuff in Crows because Cursed World has a different aesthetic to the human world, and then Monster Hunters also have their own aesthetic, sort of. They tend to have like a Western look, as you can see by Drip. Not for any lore reasons, just because I wanted to give them like a nod towards being their own sort of faction. What was coming out of Brewer? Brewer is interesting. So this guy runs their specific guild, which is like, again, monsters hunting monsters. They do this for a reason, and that's because pretty much all of the monsters in this guild are monsters on the wanted list that can like theoretically like monster, I say in quotes, they're all demons, but being classified as a monster, quote, quote, is what gets you on Monster Hunter lists, because you have to do something to become hunted. So they have all done something to become hunted and be, quote, monsters as a title. Don't know what this guy did. But the Oni guy runs the place. We're doing anything literally. My assumption is, so Brewer and the Oni guy, and Drifter to some extent, are actually based off of D&D NPCs that I had, and I kind of moved over because they fit in the world. So the thing is with Brewer is that he does have magic, which is surprising for like beast type demons. However, his magic, because he's always drunk, essentially works like wild magic and just kind of goes everywhere. You're not supposed to do that. So he has accidentally terrorized people. Pretty much, yeah. He doesn't really have control over what happens. But his magic is channeled through his flute. I was explaining guilds and stuff because we were talking about Crows OCs, because a few people are making Crows OCs, and I'm like, oh, I need more! I want to get more details on them so we can make more, because there's different types of demons, and there's different types of witches, and there's different classifications of the humans, including the hunters, and then just the specific type of hunters. And technically, keepers sort of have a uniform, sort of, but not really. But, like, I could show you guys that, but I don't know where it is. It's in a sketch somewhere. I showed them that little preview. I read them a little preview of the script that's like, Gray in quotes says this, and then Rafe is like, wow, gross. Keeper Crow's Angels. Oh, I love the angels. They're generally one of my favorites to like world build on, even though they're so fucking irrelevant to the plot. They're so fun to play with though, because they're so... I've done the most world building on them, I think. I love Gray. I love Gray! I love Gray! Gray has been like my comfort OC for like 10 years. I love it. Whenever I'm stressed, you can tell because I'll just be drawing him in my sketchbooks. I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do, and I'm stressed, and I want to draw. I'm gonna draw to feel better, and then I just draw Gray. Like the X-Men are technically have matching uniforms, so they wear their own shit. It's like more so when you start out as a keeper, you have a uniform because they're actually magic resistant. But then you get stronger and you don't, like, you get higher level of clearance basically, so you don't really need them. But they do have sort of a brooch emblem that they're supposed to have. However, you can become a keeper for through a couple different ways. So the ways that the crows became keepers was through a group. And become a keeper through a group, you don't have to go through the key keepers, like, same school, basically. Even though their school thing hasn't been running in a while, but whatever. However, because the crows became keepers in this different way, they do at one point run into the jackdaws, which is the reason I have another keeper group that I've developed. And this is a problem. Because Deja specifically wants to fight them. I love keepers. I want to talk about them forever. I want to draw the crows. I'm back. I have to do fucking work. Oh, I want to work on the script more. I don't want to write Stell's fuck-ass scene, though, because it's kind of eluding me, because I don't know the flow that I wanted to have yet, but... Oh, I'm so excited! Everyone should make Crows OCs, comma, I have to be a little bit more... Not that I don't explain everything all the time forever, but I want to make information about the way that they dress, and because their architecture and their clothing and stuff is like all unique to their world. You'd be excited forever. I am! It's been years and I'm still excited. I have like the biggest hyperfixation on my own fucking dudes. It's like I love talking about them. Like, oh, they live in my head. Oh, sounds like a fucking nightmare. She's a student for sure. I think if I put Stell in high school AU, it would be pre-Stell becoming Stell as she is. Because Stell, I've mentioned before in Keeping Crows, was like kicked out of the Witches Coven / school. So I think it would be her before she becomes that. Thanks, Lemon. I love them. They're so interesting to me. I want to like D&D world build their world and explain everything, even though half of it's not fucking relevant to the plot. Which is why I like developing the angels so much. They're so interesting to me. They're so like, I basically built them up from the ground with the vague concept of like celestials, but they are in no way religious. So they're just like their own race of demons, basically. And they're so cool and they're so fun to play with, but I'm like, they're so unimportant to the story. Like, Ing shows up for a bit, and then's like it. And like, LM is the only like angel that's like a prominent character. LM. I need to get this shape right. Big fan of LM. How big? How bulb? How bulb? Big bulb. Bulb? Bigger. Do you want me to draw it or not? How big is your bulb? Drop them. Oh, there's too much honey at the bottom of my teacup. Shit. I like it when you say it. I want to do, I know Moon and Connor have like this lineup thing for the, okay, for like the races in Concrete Garden, and I kind of want to do something like that for crows, except for the fact that there's less specifics in Keeping Crows because it's so heavily based on like folklore and like mythology, primarily folklore and word of mouth type things, that you can kind of get away with making most anything as long as it fits into a category, but even then there's a category for doesn't fit into a category. There's like undead, and you have like your, you know, zombies, vampires, skeletons, revenants, specters, and all that. But like theoretically there's other forms. There's just umbrella term, cursed soul, and then they split into more umbrella terms that then have more specifications under them. So it's like there's not really defined specifics so much as it's vague, not even genes, like genealogy. Like, this is one of the reasons that LM specifically is a character in universe that thinks the type of classifications that the cursed souls have are stupid. Because there's some of them that make sense. Like, obviously you have celestials, who the main defining factor of a celestial is that they have an external halo. And then there's like beast class, who are primarily like animal-based demons. They usually don't have magic. But you can be undead and never have been alive, because you can be born an undead. Like if a vampire has a child, you're technically an undead because you're a vampire and you're not living. But theoretically you were also born dead and then you are revived. Like, that is how your soul is formed. So it's like, there's a little bit of leeway there with pretty much everyone. Whenever you get to it. Yeah. I remembered. I was gonna ask, but there's, I don't know. There's just, there's I want to make just in general. I want to talk about crows forever. Always hold my hand. I'm gonna talk about crows forever. I considered running a D&D game with the fucking Moon and Wawa and Egg as the cast, right? But I was like, oh my god, I would have to rework everything, because I would have to give them like essentially their own race sheets, because they would have to be Crow's version of whatever, but it would be so worth it, it'd be so cool! And you could explore, like, the world, because I've got it so set up. I don't have a map, but I think that's a little too, too obsessive. But I do know the vague cities that are around where the crows live, and, like, where they go, like, the nest is, which is, like, the keepering scheme. It's so interesting. Because my DM brain makes me want to do world building, even if it's completely irrelevant. No, such thing as too obsessive. I don't think that's true. So, the thing with making a map is I don't want there to be that much specifics, because what I want to do is know things, but with gaps, so that I can fill in the gaps when I get to that spot, so I still have the creative freedom to do things while, like, having a guideline. Which is why, like, I have bullet points basically on where the story goes, and with vague descriptions of key events and things that connect them, things that have to happen, whatever, but I don't have, like, episodes planned, because I want to be able to connect the dots in a way that feels fluid at the time, instead of having a pre-written script that I have to follow from episode 1 to the last episode. I think it's letting it flow, but knowing where you're going is a better idea. So I don't want to make a map in case I'm like, oh, I need this for this reason, so that I can get to this story spot. So I want that some level of vaguity. It's like the Ghibli effect, you know, like, they don't explain everything. Some things they don't even have answers for. Like, do they know them behind the scenes? Probably not, but, like, there's, like, that level of not having everything explained that, like, adds more whimsy to it, because the characters will talk about it like they know, because it's their world and they do know. So I don't have to answer your questions because the characters know, you know? I don't know if that makes any fucking sense. Jill, you know seeds you can never fixate on. I love making characters for the Crow's world, because it's like each character adds another level of, like, somebody lived here, like, this is what they have interacted with, this is what they have affected, this is who they know, this is, like, why they know this person. Like, it's so fun. It's like when people, like, I know some people that, like, pretty much only make OCs in D&D worlds, because it's like you have a world that you can build in, and it's nice to have something to build up on. I have so much fun, like, having an idea for a character and then being like, oh, I'm gonna make them in the Crows because I've got, like, a framework to work on, and, like, how do I fit them in? And, like, it's a lot of fun. And then I get to develop further because I made the world. I'm so not fucking locked in. This is... I love it's bloody. Yeah. I love Flood. You're so cool. Locked out, literally locked out. So because fucking Wuzzles was asking me questions about how the angels work and how halos work today, I've been so locked into Crows today that I'm like, oh, world building, ooh. Because, ooh, the angels again, I have said this many times, they're like my favorite to fucking develop. They're so interesting. So Wuzzles was like, how do they work? How do their halos work? And I was like, I'm so glad to do it. There's like 40 side characters I have written out because, like, needed to give a reason for that. Yeah. Because I'm like, well, I have to know who everybody knows, because if they know this person, it's gonna make them react differently to this person that they know. Because, like, I'm like, well, who's the generals for the king? And, like, who's the, like, main advisors for the generals? And why is this advisor this advisor? And, like, so, like, Grimoire is the general for the king because the king's generals are all vaguely based on the Sims. Not, like, anything that has to do with the plot, just something that I like to give my characters themes. So General Grimoire's theme is Wrath, right? And then his advisor is Mary. Mary used to want to be a doctor, and we're like, well, who's the biggest doctor in the curse world? Because that would affect the way that, like, Mary would, like, have grown and then became an advisor for the war instead of becoming a doctor. So that's how we made Malcolm, and Malcolm's like a side character of a side character. And I was like, ooh. There's also, like, a nurse in the King's Manor who used to know Mary and went to the same school as Mary. Is this relevant to the plot at all? Will we ever fucking see her? No. But she technically knows alchemy. Yeah, there's like people who can have, like, one character, like Egg. He has, like, 1 or 2 characters, and then he'll put them in an AU of everything. And I'm like, no, 1 world, 5 billion characters. Hold on, let me see. I know it's my like YouTube and like Twitch background or whatever, but I have the web, which isn't even all of the characters for Crows. It's just the fucking important ones. Let's see if I can find the web. The web. These are. It's a bit outdated at this point because I think I ended up cutting a couple characters, but this is the like plot related characters. And by plot related, I mean they show up. Even some of them are one-off characters. Like Stella's on here. Stella's like an enemy once and then maybe comes back a second time, but she kicks off some things, so she's on here. 3 of them got redesigns like the boss. Yeah, but those are vague headshots anyway. But I ended up cutting, I think Cliff I ended up having to cut for like timing reasons, so Cliff's not in it anymore. Technically he is, but he's not going to have as big of an arc as he did have. He's just going to be another one-off character to like introduce the Monster Hunters. Constellation characters that I tend to shove into different worlds and I use. Yeah. I make new characters, always. James Francis, Neptune, Cole, Restman, Death, Norman, Verse, Hay. Groundskeeper technically has a name, this guy. Durian or Adeja Mel, the Gilded King. The Gilded King is not really relevant, but he is somebody that they fight, so he's one of the one-off villains. It's kind of, again, Keeping Crows is kind of Monsters of the Week, so there's a few, like, villains that show up for, like, an episode, I say in quotes, and then don't really come back. So, it does, like, there's a few characters on here that don't really make consistent appearances, because until you get like a decent way into the story, then we start getting the characters that start reoccurring and being important, like, you know, the generals and shit. Kit. Oh, they're so... So, you know. I need to work on this commission, but I want to work on Crow stuff so bad, dog. I want to make the fucking, like, banners for the different types of witches and develop them a little bit. Hey, Corvid, hey!
No idea what's going on, but Mood Raven 40 groovy.
Talking about OCs. You understand making your own stories and stuff. You have characters that you're developing. Your little birds. Burbs. You too have burbs that you're developing. I shake your hand. I was in the bulletin board on a deep level. You're drawing Neptune in OC art. Hey man, every time I turn my back, I always miss everything just because I'm over here yapping about OCs. It's so funny to me that Neptune is probably one of my favorite characters to play with. He's like an interesting little freak. One of my more sadistic characters, more so than the Cursed King, who's like the main antagonist. Neptune is just like openly sadistic. He doesn't really, he's not like a very big threat when it comes to the generals of the King's army or whatever. He doesn't really have a huge story role. He's like the information guy. Like, he's strong, he's got a really unique power, but the Crows don't really have to deal with him that much. And this is very funny to me. Don't worry, perfect. This needs to be on its own layer. I'm gonna have to separate everything into its own specific layers because it's gonna be sort of. How quickly Mika's become a good for character. Mika's so cute! Griff was the main character because you draw him so much. Griff is... Okay, technically Griff is not canon in Keeping Crows. Technically Griff is an AU character. And I love telling people this because everyone goes, what? Nim in high school, you? Oh yeah, Nim gets bullied by Mason. Yeah, what? Yeah, Griff isn't a canon Keeping Crows character. Griff is... So... Griff is in what is technically a modern AU because Keeping Crows is not modern. It's... main character of our hearts. Griff is my little guy. Yeah, he is in Keeping Crows. Theoretically, I can put him in there, but he would be a bit different because the thing is, Griff is a greaser, and he's supposed to look out of fashion, like that's a part of his bit, but Keeping Crows is dresses more like historical because it's like more Georgian, so the greasers aren't a thing. Theoretically, I can have him still dress like that and everyone still think it's weird because it would be just as weird but in the opposite direction. But there's also the fact that Sterling is like a famous movie actor and they don't really have like at-home TV. Yeah, Starshades is technically a modern AU, not canon to Keep It Gross. Time traveler Griff. Well, the thing is that there are modern designs in Keeping Crows because there's modern flair. Because they're not just Georgian. I've explained this so many times, and I'm gonna keep explaining it. They have Georgian style clothes with modern accents, basically. And I want to go more into specifics on that because I've made clothing charts before for other things like D&D, and I kind of want to make one for Crows, but there's a lot more fluidity when it comes to the way the clothing is designed in Crows, because it's like you just have to have a bit of the Georgian and a bit of the modern, and then you kind of do whatever you want in between. Like the boss's clothing is a very modern design with just a few accents of the Georgian, and then you have like Grays, which is basically like the dandy coat and the fucking boot covers and the knee-length pants, but he also wears a turtleneck and like... So it's like basically anyone can be more or less of either. Most of the time they don't have the big poofy dresses, but like some people can. Less of the extravagant huge dresses, because at the time they had like really, rather than round, they had really wide kind of square dresses, and you know, they went all the way to the floor, but I don't want to do that, and obviously the women can wear whatever they want, so... I know you're less than I thought. You want me to make these? Listen, in my defense, I forgot that people don't know Griff isn't canon. He's just like my little mascot, basically. This is also why in the like Lord page, like the master page on Tumblr, Griff is a part of the background characters in AU section. He's not a part of the main Crows. Raise this a little bit. Sigh. Guys, I love Crows. I sent, I think Wawa and Moon both the rough draft that I currently have, the first couple scenes that I've written. Neither of them have gotten back to me on that, but that's okay. Technically, I also sent them to my mods, and nobody has really said anything. But it's very rough, and I'm still fucking with the pacing anyway, so... I gotta work on the stealth scene. I gotta work on... There's a few optional scenes that I don't know if I'm going to cut or not. It depends on the pacing, because obviously if I make it too long, then I have to a lot more, so... Crows are escalating stuff, for real. Technically, if you commission me of my own characters, you get a discount. Even protecting hand hyperfixate, literally. Commission me to finish my own fucking script at this point. I hate writing. The only way that I actually get writing done is when it's like collaborative writing, and then otherwise I'm like so fucking bad with it. Because I can't read. I do have, sort of a rough, not a storyboard, but like story beats done for most of the scenes. Kinda have to follow those and write down what's in those, and then... Basically, it's like story beats are like main visuals for each scene. I made it a little bit more because I was treating it like I'm in between story beats and storyboard. So it's like, this is an important shot, this is an important shot, this is an important shot, and we don't fill in the in-betweens. So that's what I did for most of the scenes in the concept episode, and now I just need to write down, follow those like bullet points, and then go back and fill in, basically. So I'm making it bite-sized because it's like pulling teeth. For months, that's funny. Well, I also have, unfortunately, I am a being of many projects. So I have other things that I am also working on at the same time. I want to finish Coining Crows Chapter 2, which I have the full rough draft on in paper. I just have to digitize it. Like, all 12 pages are rough drafted and written on paper. I just need to make them digital because that's where I do all my rough drafts are on paper. And I also want to finish the next OCR&R because I already recorded the audio for that. I just have to edit the audio and then do the paint overs for those and some minor editing. So theoretically I have to finish this first before I finish the script. But I also have to finish this commission first, so... You gotta have many projects going on at once so you can bounce between all of them. Trust me, it's good for you. It's like eating mold. 14 out of Caesar Escalate you then. I don't think I have very many that I have like started using, but again, technically I made King's Academy to throw my OCs in. I just only talked about them with Shuri. Animated whips for months, you're like me. I like vaguely shape this hand so I don't have to redo the fucking book every time it moves, but I'm... Crows, I want to draw crows. I have so many things I have to do first, but I want to draw crows. Guys, pause. we're getting distracted. I'm gonna draw gray. I want to draw gray. Theoretically, I need to work on Frost's fucking hammer and actually decide on how I want that to look. He's stressed? No, I'm just excited. I love gray. He's like the Crow's character that I draw the most. Dude, I have so many fucking... Most of my Crow's development is in my sketchbooks, and there's just pages of my fuck-ass cat. I love you, fuck-ass cat. I love you, edgy cat boy. I draw his hair differently every time, which I gotta work on. Considering I'm gonna be animating him. Yeah, look outside. Is that your guardian angel, right? I say tentatively. Decided to do his fucking... Yeah. The thing with the goopy halo that they have, though, is that LM has a halo like that because his halo was broken. So if you want a halo like that, that means she's a fallen angel. Oops. No. Sorry, I almost closed OBS. Oops. That fit her. That would make... yeah. Hold on, everybody move. Get out of my way. Get! We're gonna talk about angels. Everybody shut up. It's not exactly great following the rules. So the thing with angels is the reason Celestials, one, I would like to specify again, all monsters, demons, whatever are cursed souls. They are all the same kind of creature. They all fall into the category of cursed soul, which is also a demon in Keeping Crows. So Celestials, though they want to claim to be their own thing, they are also demons. This is something Griff will tell you often. The thing that makes them separate from normal demons and cursed souls is that they have an external soul. That would be their halo. The halo can be physically attached to their body, like a unicorn horn. Unicorns are celestials. Or floating. The stronger you are, the more halos you have. Usually also the more wings you have, but this is less specific. Some, like, strong, like, angels with many halos have one set of wings, or rarely none, but that's very rare, and also kinda people don't like that. The angels also tend to follow a color scheme. One, they don't have pupils. This is something you can see with Griff, where his eyes are golden, and they have, like, what would normally be the color of his eyes. So, like, the white of the eyes is usually gold or yellow or some kind of fire color. And then what would be the color is white, and then there's sometimes pupil, but usually not like a dark colored pupil. It's gonna also be like a fiery color. Primarily, they don't have pupils, though. These can vary. Obviously, I have a lot of fun with the eye designs, but primarily they're gold, and primarily they don't have pupils. Inverted, essentially. Nice. This is also if typically when an angel is fell, the gold in their eyes will turn black, which is why LMs are like that. LM's eyes, I think if you've seen the animation, his eyes essentially used to look like, I think his were very similar to Griff's, where they were golden with a white dot. And now this, so the gold will typically turn black. Yeah. Lemon, his pretty little lashes. Also, guardian angels is an actual classification of angels slash demon, and they are generally one of the lower classes, like, not like classism, they live in lower ranks, but like lower in the power scale level. So they're typically the ones that look more human and have less magic. So think like Griffin Mason, that basically just look like dudes with wings. But the stronger you are, slash the more halos you have, slash, you know, all that stuff, the less human you look, which is why LM, who had 2 halos and 2 sets of wings, his actual form looks like this, because they kind of look more statuesque or like fiery the less, like the stronger they get. LM's true form or whatever is like this fuck ass stick figure. But we also have characters like fucking Neptune's dad, not Neptune, fucking Norman's dad, who is the floating eye. When you get into characters that are, you know, powerful, less human. Stronger angels also pretty much always have shapeshifting. The stronger Celestial is, they're high chance they're gonna have shapeshifting to turn into a more human look. However, they don't have like free reign over their shapeshifting. It's kind of like a scale of human to angel, and it varies on how much control they have over it. You have characters like Respin, who's like a fire. He's just like a flame with wings, who can shape more freely, but most of them don't. They have like a sliding scale of what a Celestial's approximation of a human would be to their normal form. Obviously, I wouldn't know it. Wet blanket. As you can see, this guy has 4 halos. It's technically a Seraphim. And as such, you know, very not human, like, real form. Breaking an angel's halo is how they fall, obviously. When an angel's halo is broken, the person who breaks it kind of absorbs the magic out of it. They can do this to themselves as well, because their magic is stored externally. Basically, they have less control over it in a sense. So you can get more raw power out of it if you break it, which is why LM broke his halo. However, your, like, essence, I guess, like your soul wants to take that pseudo-soul form, which is why you have things like LM's halo, like currently, which is like this black kind of dripping thing, because your soul wants to take that form of being a soul, basically. So you get the goop version of the... Also, usually their feathers, like their wings lose their feathers, but this isn't like a 100% kind of happens sort of thing. Most of the time they will just... Well, not most of the time. Most of the time they lose their feathers and their wings kind of get fucked, but there are instances in which they will simply become stained. Usually fallen angels also have stained, like, fingertips. It doesn't have to be, like, with the black and tar color. This is just how it is often. But there are also... Because angels go through different, they have, like, different color schemes. It's because they're not human, so their magic comes in different colors, basically. It'll look different, like the staining will look different on different people, because angels' main color scheme for the Celestials are, like, pure whites for pure blacks, gold, and like fire colors. Which is again how you got this guy with the bright red hair. So it's like very pure and vibrant colors, and you know, stark darks and stark whites are their main color schemes. They tend to be. Here's another example of the fire colors. Blackened wings is considered kind of like side-eye, but more so gray is, honestly. If you have like gray colors and ashy colors, that's like a because they want the like pure, I say in quote, colors. Also, I love this picture, it's so funny. This is Rhett, by the way. He runs the fucking Celestial Court. Blindfolded person looks 6. Yeah, the Rhett run. This is Divine Retribution, who is basically a furnace. Because Retribution has their halo is this little star thing. Their wings are tucked away in this like cape-looking thing. But when they use their wings, they become made of fire because Red is basically a furnace. Their skin is like kind of metal marbled, which is relatively common for angels because they're not made of. They're not made of the same thing humans are, so they feel a bit different. So Ret is like, this is Ret. Ret's cool. There's a lot about angels and their halos and how they work. They're really interesting to me. They're fun to play with. Ret has cool memory-based magic. See if I can find another example of another angel that I like. I love designing the angels. They're a lot of fun. You can, because again, the stronger they are, the less human they are, so they can look like a lot of different things. Briar isn't mine technically, but he is an angel. He's I was looking for them. So their wings also don't have to be on their back, in a sense. Like, this character is kind of basically made of stone, but not like literally. Their wings are like on their arms, which is like a thing that happens. Instead of needing like a specific, this is what angels look like, it's more like, here's a checklist of things that angels have. They're really cool. I think I vaguely mentioned this in the Crows chat in Space Jam, but their halos also work like eyes. Obviously this one has literal eyes on it, but this is the reason LM can keep his eyes closed and see things, is because you can kind of, not like literally see, but like you can know what's going on with your halo around. The stronger you are, the more this is something that occurs, I guess. True sight, sort of, like Griff is weak and only part angel, so he can kind of sense, I guess, what's going on, but a character like this would be able to, obviously they have literal eyes, but they'd be able to see, like, LM can see what's going on with his eyes closed, but Griff would be able to, like, sort of feel things that happen to his halo, if that makes sense. But then you have characters like, I think in the Pitch Bible I've mentioned that heaven is someone's halo. So, heat sensor can detect if a person is there, but not a clear image. Like for the weaker ones, yeah. And again, this is also an example of the fact that their clothes aren't, they love, their clothes are stark blacks, stark whites, and gold accents is usually what they wear. So I wanted to avoid them being very, pure white in general, so they also have the fire colors and stuff. And without the trippy halo, she could be fallen. I also have... Oh, here's... I can show you another guy I made. He's a guard. I just needed a background character. This is Kane. They just call him the kitchen's dog. He does have wings. However, his are enchanted. What? We love him. His are enchanted because he doesn't fly very well. It's something he got bullied about before, and his hair is dyed. He has black hair, but white hair is more common, so he dyed it white just so that he was like, oh, fucking leave me alone. He put his hair down. You should see him in chains. I have a picture of him in chains somewhere. Yeah, here he is. You know what? I'll show you this. But yeah, his halo is also turned into his weapon because angels can develop spiritual weapons like most other cursed souls, but they typically don't because they usually have their own form of magic that comes from their halo. But like most cursed souls can develop spirit weapons. It's just people tend to not always train for it because it's something that requires effort to train for, and the angels are like, hey, we're strong enough without it. For more than one halo to match your multiple sets of... Sure, why not? How strong is she? You can also have one halo be broken and one of them not be broken, which is something that happens. It does put... If you break one halo, it does put strain on the other halo, so it might be cracked, but they can be fixed if you go to Celestial Forge. Celestial Forges use falling stars to heal halos. As I have thought about this. Here he is with his hair down. His halo is supposed to look like a sun with a moon in it. He is a guard. He has beef with Briar, which is one of Shubi's angels. Briar used to bully Cain, and Cain wants that man dead. Not literally, but... Angel with her bird of the halo. I love the angels, they're so fun to design. They're so... Ooh, I love the world building for the angels. Also, the angels, if you couldn't tell, are typically very immodest. They're not very, like, ashamed, I guess, so they typically have very open clothing. Viewer discretion advised. Obviously, do not make all your angels look like whores just because. However, they wear very loose, flowy shit most of the time. Primarily things that have open backs because usually they have wings. They do have a lot of societal pressure and all that, though, so it's very much, an angel just show man boobs whenever the wind blows. So, Cain's scarf works, what is it, like, fucking, what's his name from My Hero with the scarf that he can control? Cain's scarf, his ability is to lock things in place. Yes. So what he does is he will, like, essentially tie people up and then freeze that thing in space, like, immovable object, so you cannot move if he gets you tied up in that thing. Which is also, he can make his halo indestructible, basically, so he will use his halo as a weapon and lock his spear in place to block because it can't move. He can essentially create shields on shit. So Cain is cool. There's, like, general abilities that every angel has. Like, most can use their halo as a pocket dimension. This is something even Griff can do. Which is not, like, a big space or anything, but they throw things in there and whatever. What have you. But then there's niche abilities. This is how vampires work, too, where you got, like, vampire strength, vampire speed, and then you have this individual's power. Like Sterling, when he gets turned into a vampire, his individual power is dreamwalking. So Cain's, individual powers lock shit in place. Yeah, what's happening? It's like I can see them talking over there. I love the angels. They're so cool. They're so fun to play with. And again, they're so irrelevant. You can't. It's like, don't worry. Oh my god, keys! Oh my god, shiny! Oh wait, dude, have you guys seen the doodle of LM with his... There's obviously one on Patreon because he's like, fucking got his ass out. But there's a doodle of LM, with his scars, because angels don't scar. The exception to this is Mason, whose mother fell, well, pregnant, and fallen angels So LM has scars because he's fallen. LM has scars from where his wings used to be. He's got scars on his back, and they're like blackened because that's the way his like fallen magic looks. God, I didn't find that. You are. I think I did this on stream actually. I guess the minute he punches me. Immediately die. I'm glad you guys are both on the same page. Yeah, his little back scars, because LM had 2 halos and 2 sets of wings, so he's got the back scars and the hip scars. I'm not showing the one that's on Patreon. If you want to see his ass, that's on Patreon. His scars are in that one too. They're actually colored. He's got a great ass. He really doesn't. LM has no mass on him. He's very small. He's specifically, this is, I think I've mentioned before, LM's proportions are exaggerated because he is not human, even in his human form, I say in quotes, which is this. He's got like long arms, really thin waist, like wide shoulders. Like he's supposed to look kind of weird, disproportional, like he looked like this. Like, you know, he's weird looking. Bit of a freak. I guess mannequin, yeah, pretty much. Cause well, angels don't need to eat. Griff does because he's half angel, but they don't need to eat. They kind of get their, I see, nutrients and quotes and powers and stuff from the sun, fire, heat. Technically they could get it from worship. Like positive emotions do heal them, which is why like prayer, I say in quotes, is like a thing. Which is also why Sterling confessing to Griff healed his halo, by the way. It was a minor injury, but oh, really fucking cute. He had like a small crack in his halo. And Sterling was like, oh, it's so cute. Anyway. My angels. I love them, they're fun to play with. Now you know everything forever. But you don't. You know everything forever. Also, I'm telling you more because you don't know everything forever. Heaven is its own like pocket dimension, right? And I say heaven, that's just what it's called. It's not like a Christian or religious thing or whatever. Technically, it's vaguely based on a different, like the creator of heaven is actually based on a Chinese myth, fun fact. But heaven is actually a branch between the cursed world and the human world. They very much guard who can go in and out because you know, the worlds are separated for a reason or whatever. And they also don't let people just willy-nilly wander into heaven because it's fucking dangerous. Considering, you know, they made it because their souls are external and that's a big weak spot. But technically it is a gate between the cursed world and the human world. So keep that in mind. And when I get home, beautiful. Everyone's listening to the angels lore. They're my favorite. I also like making beasts, honestly. They're pretty good. The beasts are fun because they can be from any level of, like, talking dog to, like, Gray, who is a man with cat ears. So you have characters like fucking Shade, who is basically just a bat. I don't know if I've ever talked about Shade really with you guys, but he's like a cat bat thing that the crows end up sort of stuck with because they like rescue him, sort of. And he's like, alright, I'm staying with you guys, and they're like, what? And he's like, well, I don't got anywhere else to go. So he just like crashes at their place. I think he's in like the group picture or whatever. Shane doesn't do anything except be a nuisance. Rave likes to call him their mascot. This is Shade. You can tell which characters are really old because they have the, like, middle school last names. I love giving all my characters names that are just nouns. Descripting words or, like, objects, and there you go. Remember how your fucking tail pattern works, actually. Yeah. Same as your... There you go, my little bat. Forgot about. He's beautiful. Remember, you got more spots on you or not. I genuinely have no idea. I haven't drawn shade in 5 billion years. Look at my little guy. Observed little mascot. He's so done. Yeah, he is usually. He just wants to sleep. He hangs out in Beast's room. So they like rest. They kind of start collecting people, and they're like building their little group, you know, as the story goes on. And Shade is one of the people that like, sticks around. And then we also got Yan and Pin, who kind of start sticking around too. But I think Yan and Pin end up hanging out with the Jackdaws a bit more after they counter them. I think it's actually like Monster Hunters that they have to deal with to get Shade back. Honestly, I don't know if I'm gonna have to cut Shade's little mini story, because again, I've been cutting a lot of things for simplicity's sake and like timing's sake. And Shade doesn't do much aside from kind of explain how Monster Hunters work again and, you know, a bit more world building, I suppose. More examples of Beast Class and all that. But it's also one of the characters that's been around for a while. You might have to die. My fruit salad. Just take my fruit salad. Oh shit, we're past 2 hours. I got my note work done on the commission. I've been yapping about crows. Like, stretch time. Stretch time. Everybody lift your arms above your head. You have to. No wonder. I'm stretching at work. I would stand up, except that's hard for me right now. So you guys have to do it for me. Stand up, stretch your legs. Ugh. Also kind of challenging if I stretched my arms too much. My wrists mostly. Soles of my shoes are coming off. God damn. It's also nice to be streaming again. I like streaming and yapping and doodling. It's a lot of fun. Abandoned you guys for over a week. Oh my god, I'm supposed to have D&D tomorrow. Might have to reschedule. Guardian Angels, yeah! Every stream, I will explain more Crows lore, and then after stream, we collect in the Crows OC channel and we talk about it. Nothing to distract me from work last Saturday. I was on an airplane. Everybody makes Crows OCs. We can do a little doodle stream where I just draw Crows OCs. It's in the channel and read because audio processing is hard. To be fair, when I get excited, I start talking really fast, and nobody knows what I'm saying. So I also like giggle between talking, as I just demonstrated. So like 12 times. You will also forget it. You have the forgets things disease. Oh my god, I could draw my one, like, feral fucking OC with your little dogs. The one guy I have. Best friend does the laugh between sentences every time you do it. It freaks me out. I do it constantly. I'm a giggly bitch. I'm just always amused by everything. Nobody makes me laugh like I do. Okay, I'm sorry, Bean. Commissioned me 5 billion years ago, and I have been doing other things. I also need to do this in different poses, technically. It's only been a couple weeks. 5 billion years. Usually I get my commissions done quickly. Mostly because I want to work on other things, I cannot lie. When Halo being broken, yeah. I guess for a robe or something. Like a house coat. I can do that if you would like. I'm preoccupied with life. Yeah, I did explain going on the trip and going into surgery. We vaguely talked about that. Yeah, I've been doing that. I told Bean when I got back that I had to go into surgery, so. I'd like a house coat. Is that what you're thinking? I can do that. Actually, I shaped. Yeah. Ares is one of the characters that... One of the random background characters of a background character of a background character. A character that is technically sort of relevant to the plot is... I'm getting distracted again. Verse, which is a character that Shubi wrote in. Well, wrote in. I filled in a spot that I needed to fill a character in. Someone related to him has a halo that looks kind of like this. Well, two split halos. This, and kind of looks like an eye. They can connect or separate, and they do different things. Halos can, this is so important that I inform you, they can look like fucking anything, basically. LM's, his halos looked like, the first one looked like this, and I think the second one looked like this. They can, like, Griff has, like, the sun shape halo, right? But, like, Mason's has, like, this floral leaf design on it. This. They can kind of look like anything. Again, this is also to the fact that, like, unicorns are, celestials as well, and they just straight up have horns. That technically is their halo. Like, Crystal, if you get her. Are they born with the halos? They are born with them. I think me and Trippy were talking about this because we were like, they're definitely not as solidified as they are. Have you seen the life cycle of a star? It's kind of like that in a sense, where they start out as more like a ball of light, sort of. Because technically that is what souls, for the cursed souls, look like, are shreds of magic, because what makes a cursed soul is that their soul is made out of magic instead of whatever the humans have. And, you know, humans will claim that they have real souls instead of cursed souls. That's how they got the name. So, like, LM can pull people's souls out into these threads, basically, of magic, which are just like a white light. And they can be condensed down into this ball. But for generally speaking, they're usually threads of white light. But angels are more so born with this, like, glowing sort of semi-solid ball that, like, solidifies into a more specific halo as they get older. They would probably develop relatively quickly. Here's region forever. No, one halo is like standard. It's more so if you have more than one, it's considered impressive. LM very much had to deal with, like, gifted child, I say in quotes, and he only had 2, and, like, I've shown you a character that had 4, so... It's more... If you don't have wings, that's more considered, like... People will bully you about that. That's why Kane, the kitchen dog that I showed you, he has relatively small wings and can't fly very well because he's a big dude. He did get bullied. But that's why he enchanted his wings, is because he's not very good at flight anyway. So his are actually, I don't know if I have a picture of his back. I think I have it on Patreon or something, but there's a type of enchantment that essentially seals your wings into tattoos on your back, which I think I've drawn Griff doing this at one point, but there's no type of enchantment that can do that, and it's very painful, but if you're not going to use your wings, you might as well, right? He doesn't like using his wings, he's like, I'm faster on foot, whatever. Also, halos are technically solid, but they're made of light. It's more, think of it like you can grab this part of a halo, like the core of a halo, but there's like the outside. It's like the halo. This is our cell. They're like made of light. Your hand would like phase through the first couple layers, right? But they can be grabbed and bent and shit, because obviously that's how you break a halo. But they are not technically completely solid. They're made of, like, solidified light, which I know is not a concept that makes sense theoretically because it's not a real thing, but it's magic, so you have to be a little vague with it. A suspension of disbelief-y. Angels are so fun to develop. What I need to do is go into as much depth as I have with the Celestials to the Infernals, because Infernals have devils and demons, which are separate things, but they also have like other forms of like desire demons, like Inky is a desire demon. There's other important characters that are desire demons, which is why Inky's fun to explore. Dreamwalkers and shit like that are all types of infernal demons. And then of course you have like undead, like Bee and John are both undead, and then you have Neptune, who is technically undead because he was born a vampire, but he's also more specifically a specialist class because of the way his soul/magic developed, which is what he actually claims. Grimwalkers. And only had one Halo. Breaks it and absorbs power. Does I kill the Angel, or they still just fallen, but like powerless now? So when you break a Halo, you absorb pretty much most of the power from it, but the thing is, there's still like a shred of it attached to you because it is your soul. So basically you just become fallen and really weak if someone else breaks your Halo. And then they will still end up developing that like pseudo Halo, which is like weak sort of recreation of the Halo with like whatever weak magic. So they do still live. It's not like gonna kill them if someone else breaks their Halo, but it's definitely not like you are not in a good state. I know like Mason's mother fell when she was pregnant, right? Which is why Mason has like he scars and shit despite being an angel. She fully like gave up Mason because she was like, well, going and being an orphan is better than being like the child of a fallen angel. Like it is a bad look. They get it repaired. If it is fully broken to the point of having a pseudo Halo, they cannot get it repaired at that point. If it is cracked and damaged, then they can get it repaired, depending on the amount of damage done, depending on who's doing it. Ing is the only one who can fully heal a Halo that is basically almost completely gone, as long as there's like a shred of that magic left. Otherwise, you have to get it's a hard process. Plus, you have to get Fallen Stars from the Celestial Forge, which is, well, they have it, you know? Usually yes, but there are times when they don't. Depends on the amount of damage done to the Halo, basically. But once it's fully broken and they have that pseudo Halo like LM does, you're fucked. You're at your Fallen Angel now, and they're not gonna want you in heaven. Banished. Oh yeah, did you say you wanted a house coat for this picture, by the way? You robe. House coat, robe sort of situation. Yes, okay. Great. Do you want like... I'm thinking about the fucking meme that, you know, it's like the Dickensian nightcap sleeping gown, and then it's like the fluffy, you know, sheer. What level of house coat do you want? Do you want fluff? Like... when the poofies, like... Poofy sleeve. You should say it. Divorce widows, yeah. Yeah. I'll go like normal, but with give you some fluff for some flavor. Little belt. Videos. Alright, I was gonna do that arm. later because it's gonna move. Are soul weapons also solid? Yes, soul weapons are fully solid. They're like you've created a physical thing. They can only get so far away from like the summoner, essentially. Bow and arrows, like ranged soul weapons. You can't see it, but I'm like motioning as I'm pulling a bow. Are kind of rare because it's hard to keep a distance from your soul weapon. That includes the arrows. But there are people who have them. Mantle has one. Neptune can also get particularly far away from his soul weapons. Neptune does have soul weapons, he just never uses them because his magic is also that strong. However, he was basically raised as like, you have a rare power, we're gonna use you to get high up in the ranking, so he was trained to make one. And you wanna do that, or is it permanent? Is what permanent? Soul weapon, you turn into a right. Kain turns his halo into a weapon by creating a staff on his halo. Soul weapons are temporary anyway. They're basically like recreation of something that comes from your soul. You train to have them. They can only have one form after you have trained them. Usually they show up as weapons. They're actually called soul summons, but they usually are referred to as weapons because most people make weapons given the shitty situation everybody's in. But they can be other things. Can hags have one because I think it'd be oppressive? No. Technically, no. Only cursed souls, because of the soul made of magic, can have soul summons. Technically. There's always like a gray area where there's some instances in which it's like, in this very rare, specific, handcrafted instance, like maybe it could happen, but theoretically, only cursed souls can have soul summons. And not even all of them, because most undead can't, because technically their souls are slightly different than normal cursed souls, which is why B and John don't really have soul weapons. He does, however, have a gun. Guns are not, like, common in Crows, though. B made his. He's an engineer. But you can get enchanted items, which witches and hags can attune to, that humans can't usually use. There's, again, rare instances in which this isn't, you know, whatever. And a motorcycle and, like, the internet. So there are, like, enchanted items is a thing. So you could just give them an enchanted item to attune to, kind of D&D style. Given there's a whole type of witch whose thing is creating enchanted items. Would be the alchemists. Are also the ones, as mentioned, hags are created through alchemy, sort of. Technically, vampires were created from hags. Technically. There's a lot of loose, strands. You know the lore on Snake. I think I've talked about it on the stream before. Still fan, yeah! maybe after stream I'll work on the banners for the witches, because I'm thinking about them and on this for a bit. But I do want to work in the explaining how the witches work a bit, because they are quite interesting. I have examples that I can use for, I think, every type of witch there is too. And I want to make their banners the way I have the Cursed Souls. If you have seen it, it's in my... I do have an animation on YouTube about coining crows that talks a bit more about Cursed Souls and stuff like that. So there is technically always access to that with a bit of information on it, but obviously you could just... The fuck are my... There. There's, your different demon types slash curse types. All technically have their own color theme. I love color coding things. You have your infernal types, your undead, beast class, celestials, elementals, and specialist. Elementals are like... Jester is an elemental. It's basically you just have one person that's whole. Both your whole magic system and at times their physical body is tied to an element. Technically, Mantle is an elemental. Like Cole, I think I've mentioned in the Coining Crows video. She's like a fairy, which are beast types, technically. Yeah, and I could turn those classes into D&D classes so easily. And then we can play Keeping Crows, the Crows cast in general, the D&D game. I want them as pens. I did design them to look like pens. And then I want to make the witches into like banners. Give me the info so I can run a game in them. Because I kind of... We were talking about this. I think it would be a lot of fun to, after the concept episode is done, do like a one-shot with the voice actors playing their characters. And like, I don't care if they're like out of character or whatever. I just think it'd be really cute. Do like a fucking non-canon D&D thing, and I'm like, I could custom make the Crows world, or I could also just throw the Crows characters into a D&D world, but I think it would be so cute. I think, depending on the amount of characters I have in there, I don't think I'll be able to do with the whole cast, but like, the main characters running in a D&D game together, just for like a one-shot, and we could like stream it or something, it would be so fun. Dude, and I could give them like I could give them little abilities that like would hint at things in the story that like you and they wouldn't know. But I'm like, oh yeah, you can do this by the way, and then everyone's like, what does this mean? Like that would be so fun. It would be so fun. I want to do like events and stuff post the concept episode being out, because I really want to get it done so that you guys can like have more of a look into their world. Because obviously I can doodle and yap about it as much as I want, but having like a physical, like being able to see them do stuff, able to eyes burned, like let you guys in to more of it. I also want I considered for April Fools this year, because I don't want to do like a huge event like I did last time because that was a lot of work, but I considered doing a fucking Kahoot for Crow's Lore and like I don't know, the winner gets like a free commission or something. But having you guys like do a Kahoot and like name characters and guess things, I think it'd be so fun. A little quiz, you know? I love doing my little events, they're so fun. That would be the final boss. I think it would be Chubi, actually. Chubi, Prince Chubi will also win. Chubi is, like, my co-writer, so... Burger. I want burger. I love burger. Guy burger. Guys, I think I have burger money. I was literally like, do I have spending money this month? The answer is yes. And then I explained, well, I say spending money, what I mean is food money. Because I don't like spend, I don't buy shit for myself really, I just buy food. Get gifts for other people, I guess. It's cheating. Genuinely, Chubi would probably think the same thing and be like, well, I can't participate, I know everything. He's such a little sweetie. But I think he should, I think it'd be funny. Show and tell everyone was a little bit. Okay, well, I'm not a whore, first of all. Get off me. This is really cute. Sorry, I just realized just the fucking house code is really cute. You look so cozy, dude. Oh, and no horse. No horse. So cozy. It's kind of like the one I have. I'm not currently wearing because it's too hot. It's not as fluffy. Do you want pants, shoes? Or thoughts on the legs? Slippers? Like do you want like bunny slippers? Fluffy slippers. Yeah, bunnies. Can I have your knees out? It's fun though. Do you just want like yeah. Almost flawless, you see that shit? They can be fluffy. Okay. Two. Fluffy slipper. Knees out, I'm assuming. Sure, that's what fucking legs look like. Sure. Sorry. I think people don't draw leg hair very often, so it's always amusing to me when I draw leg hair. I can do whatever I want forever. Yeah, it's weird. You like nobody ever like I feel like most people have leg hair. My head. the tangent with the way it connects is gonna piss me off. Hold on. You're beautiful. Quite gorgeous. Ooh, chicken legs. And legs. Leg. On a different layer, in a different color, because it's gonna move. Oh, you're right, I should do that. Actually, I might do both of them. Oh, sigh. Definitely want to draw Sai. Since everybody's getting to know Mick. In there, dude. Yippee!
And
What? Anyway. Get them, I'll be able to draw Mick with his little shadow. I love them following him around. Oh, I see, yeah. Emmed. Understand. Understand. Emmed. I fully didn't hear what it said. I understand. Oh. I'll get into proportions because they're bothering me. So the fluff is bothering me. I can only make one at a time. Oh no. Yeah, I've definitely had that issue where I work too. Where used to having multiple ovens and one of them breaks, and then everything sucks. Block of. This hand needs to be in its own little folder. Bean also needs to be in its own little folder because they're gonna animate everybody. I also need to draw the cup on this layer actually. Over here. Until you move your arm, you fully can't see the little guy. By the computer because you were brave. Brave, you're just so brave. I gotta where I want to position the handle based on how you grab here on this side, because it's gonna go around. Yep. Rough draft. Spill anything anywhere? I don't believe you. You blew up your computer. Blew up an extension cord. Trust you. Those need to go on there. But this can be in its own. I can color because it's not gonna stop exposing me. Never. That happened live on stream. That was crazy. I love how concerned literally everyone was, and you were just like, it's fine. I'm like, what do you mean it exploded? And you're like, yeah, whatever. That was crazy. It's to be in its own layer too. Never exploded something before. Wow. Good news. Not a fucking power outlet. I think that wasn't supposed to explode. Extension cord, not the outlet. Somehow that's worse. My appendix! It's crazy. Just have to do mission stuff. The base stuff done. I have to color the background. For line art wise, I just do it. It's too much movement. It's just a lot of secondary action. So it'll be fine. Especially of Mari. Her base AU. Concrete Gargan? Yeah. I have to stretch. Yes. I'm in Boar. Concrete Garger. Know everything ever, actually. The stars shake around. Theoretically, this is actually behind that layer, so I could move it back. I think I need to, cut. My manager just screwed it to get strange people, it sucks. Damn. Yeah, that does suck. Label my folders because there's so many now. And I'm gonna have to be going between them. Bitch layer. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. We're getting somewhere. I can call corporate. I love that for you. And I think you should. Get her ass, get her ass. I want to have... It's up here, because make this box, basically. And, put chat in. I gotta make the books like a sort of backgroundy color. Yeah. Flat backdrop for that. Easy. Nice. Nice. Perfect. There's just gonna be so many light sources in this picture. Yeah. Look at this. Damn, that's really impressive. I'm sorry, no, don't worry. Extra light sources just make it more, more contrast. It's something I'm one of them, you sure are. The flame is gonna be in its own layer. Yeah, is it monocolor got from the light sources? I don't think so, I think it's fully shaded. The arm is also animated, so is the cup and the smoke, the fire, the beam. It's like a background. It's a big commission. But it's turning out really good. I'm really impressed with it so far. The good eggs. It's been good interior practice too. Theoretically, I could want it to look more like a realistic interior. I could add more clutter, but I don't know what I would put in there. So much better than I pictured. I'm so glad. I gotta get the I gotta remember that you have a specific book too, so that it's actually the right, like, not gonna fully recreate the cover, but it'll look like the book you referenced, so. I might end stream early though. I know I didn't get as much work done as I would like on it, but I got the base done. Do you have any... Like, I know your persona has color references. Do you have any preference for the background? I have to... If you want a green screen, I have to avoid using green around this area. So that shouldn't be like a problem. Basically what you can do is you can create a clipping mask here and then crop it so it'll only affect like the computer, but that's easy. You do whatever they like, cool. Yeah, I think I might call stream a bit early though. Finish my fruit salad, take more horse pills. Do have antibiotics and shit that they have me taking every day, twice a day. So I want to take those before it gets too late. But I should be good for Tuesday and Thursday stream next week. Yeah. Oh, I should probably shower too. The doctors were like, you should take quick showers like twice a day, and I have not been doing that. I've been like one shower a day, which is, you know, still kind of feels like a lot of showering to me, because I'm not doing anything, I'm just sitting here. Like, I should probably take a quick shower. Get some more food, take my horse pills. Stream is yeah. Like, I guess. I didn't get as much work as I wanted to get done on this commission, but I got the base done, which means the rest of it will probably go pretty quickly. Color might take me a while, but whatever. I still think I could do it without it taking 5 billion years. What I might do is color the Sono first, and then color the background kind of with a shifted color scheme so that it kind of mixes together. Not like blends in or anything, but like they're sharing colors to make it look more like they've talked about cool things. It's okay. I did. Thank you guys for listening to me fucking yap about crows for 5 billion years. I have a green background on this one because of pre-spring ceremony. Normally we do. We're green and cutie today. You listen to me talk about angels and shit. Ending early always has the downside of less people that I normally raid into are about. I love yapping. I love talking about the crows. I think I'm gonna end here. Shower, horse pill, all of that stuff. So let me do that. As per usual, all art and stuff goes on Tumblr. I might post some more crow stuff there soon. I want to kind of work on the witches and stuff. Raving yap fest power hour, literally going off. Check out the Patreon if you want to vote on what games we play each month, and you also get like commission slots are only up on the Patreon. I have YouTube. You check out the YouTube if you want more Crows lore, because there's an animation over there about that. There's also a video, like a short animation I put up recently because we hit 1K on YouTube, which is exciting. Otherwise, art goes on Tumblr or Blue Sky. Mostly Tumblr. Check out Patreon. I will see you guys Tuesday. Bye, 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 bye.